All right, let's do some fun stuff for a little bit.
But you can be. Well, yeah, it's hard to keep up, right? Like we're always still behind, even though we're trying to do it as quickly as possible. The only way to do it fast enough is to be one of those people who just like fucking Hasan Piker, just like every day I hit go and I'm just like just freaking out on the internet live. I don't want that life.
Hasan Piker, the fact that he is so like, you know, the other top streamers around him politically are like all conservative.
Yeah.
He is truly like a sin eater for the world. Just like, I'm just looking at like, he is like the ones who lift weights in Omelas. He is like fucking.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, we've cursed him to sit in that room, sit in that little room of his and watch MSNBC all day long, 10 hours a day. He makes 150 grand every time he does it, but he cannot leave his little room.
Yeah, what is he doing with the 150 grand? He's got to be in front of the computer for 8 hours again tomorrow.
The rest of the house is empty.
Grabbing kids on the way to the manosphere alt-right pipeline and shunting them off into the left. Like, no, get back. Like,
all the coverage of him is so funny where it's just like all of these reporters are going and like, can this one jacked man in this little room change politics? Is this the new, like, no, this is just one guy who's trapped in behind a camera.
I don't know how he doesn't freak the fuck out at mainstream reporters being like, this one man stand against the forces of reactionary conservatism. And the fact that he doesn't go, help!
Yeah, somebody else do this.
Well, that was the thing.
Anybody can start a Twitch account.
Anybody. Do you feel like you have a friend? Have you ever said something cool?
I do. I say it all the time. I literally nonstop. There are others out there, and they're growing. Their channels are growing. Low-key, partially because of the likes of Ethan Klein directly putting them in the crosshairs. They end up cultivating communities of their own that are sizable. But as far as like the top content creators on the platform goes, yes, it's top content creators in every fucking platform. As a matter of fact, it is horrifying. The politics of this, like the politics of the environment that I'm in, that we're all in, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, is horrifying. It is unimaginably hostile to progressive politics. And it's crazy because like, I know the environment that I came into initially in the aftermath of Gamergate was also unimaginably hostile to progressive politics. But I knew that there were people out there. I knew that there were fucking people out there who were looking for this kind of commentary. I knew that there was people out there that was like, I don't really fuck with this neckbeard shit. And while, you know, up until 23, up until the Trump victory, really, it didn't explode as much. But right-wing sentiment, especially post-Twitter purchase of Elon Musk, right-wing sentiment has exploded online so much that there will be an inevitable backlash. The pendulum will swing in the other direction. And as a matter of fact, it has started swinging in the other direction. That's why you see even like Lacey talking about ICE raids and how fucked up it is. You know what I mean? And we need more of that. We need more Tina Kittens speaking out against ICE raids and all the other fucked up shit that this administration is doing. Also, the reality of the matter is, it's not like fucking Asmongold is the smartest, most knowledgeable person ever. So not being super, super tapped in to all of the minutia should not stop you from speaking out against things that the government is doing, especially if you think it's unconscionable. The vibes are shifting. Vanilla Mace is one of the biggest new content creators on the internet. She's pro-Palestine openly. Yeah. No, TikTok has always been pro-Palestine. There's a litany of bad takes there too, but do more interviews, reach more people. I only now just heard about you. Wait, what? Do more interviews? What more can I do? I literally get fucking mainstream coverage. I collaborate with content creators all the time. I'm literally everywhere all at once to the best of my ability as one person can be.
Well, that was the funny thing too, is you saw the entire thing of being like, who's the Joe Rogan of the left?
Right.
And when you see that infographic about how many podcaster, YouTube, Twitch things are dominated by the right, you're like, the Joe Rogan, we need a fucking million, we need 100. It's so funny because I feel like the joke for so long, our mutual friend, the brilliant and wonderful Zach Oyama, was like, no one needs a podcast. Don't do a podcast. This was like a College Humor sketch many, many years ago. And that is not true. It's like it's like if you literally looking at that infographic, because I was sort of jokingly like, working in media is always sort of funny because you're definitionally self-aggrandizing and narcissistic because you're selling yourself as a product. You're like, don't you want to hear me talk?
There was this attitude in Hollywood for a while around comedy people who some of them would be like, we got to have podcasts now. Everyone's got to have a podcast. You don't need to have a podcast. I don't need to have a podcast. I work in television, and now that doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing. Oh, you want to make money? You want to get health insurance by writing really funny things for hot people to say? Capitalism's not interested in that anymore.
It's crazy. Well, that's also the funny thing. That's when you really realize too that like whatever Adam Smith wrote about capitalism is so fucking irrelevant and has been forever. Where you're like, what capitalism really is there is a social class of aristocrats across a business fraternity based on companionship from like certain prestigious universities or where they went to school. They are totally insulated from any consequence
That's why Marx is better, because his expansion on Adam Smith is perfect.
Businesses they captain face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is anyone that renamed it Max gonna face jail time? Like, like no, and they're changing it back. It was the thing that every person went, well, that seems catastrophically.
No, I know. I mean, Adam Smith was his predecessor. No, I understand that. I know. I'm just saying, can you expand on that? Trying to learn. He defined the boundaries from the perspective of class. And instead of talking about it from a mystified perspective, he applied dialectics and talked about this collaborative effort, not from the point of fraternity, but instead from the perspective of self-interest. Because the class collaboration that exists among the capital-owning class does not happen because they like one another. They might even not like one another. You know what I mean? They might not like one another for ideological reasons, or they might not enjoy the company of one another, but ultimately they have a higher degree of interest in maintaining their profit motives. They have a higher degree of interest in continuing to earn through capital accumulation. And that is at the heart of the current economic organization of society we exist under by all the Econ 101 classes that read it.
On the platform, I was like, I'm on your fucking thing. Keep HBO in the name. It's the most prestigious brand in media. You're taking it out?
What are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
But the issue is, listen, I'm not a fan of the idealized form of capitalism that like economists write about. I don't like that either. But let's be clear, that's a fucking fantasy. That's a fiction. What actually exists is a sort of like oligarchic, aristocratic social club of people that fail upwards and bounce from corporate leadership to corporate leadership, never face the consequences of their actions. And on a personal level, it's like they run perpendicular to how the institutions they steward do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember there was one, this is a crazy fucking story. We're immediately off to a different tangent. I'll come back another time.
The intro was about Dungeons and Dragons, which is not related to any of this, but we'll come back to it.
There was a funny thing where I worked at in
2022, McKinsey paid $55 million to advise Warner Brothers to combine with Discovery. From 2022 to 2025, McKinsey charged Warner Bros. Discovery $37 million by advising the company to change HBO to HBO Max, then to Max, then back to HBO Max. In 2025, McKinsey billed Warner Brothers Discovery an additional $63 million to determine that Warner Brothers and Discovery should be separate brands again. I don't know if this is true or not. It feels like, maybe. It feels real. Okay, but think of the GDP. Okay, a lot of you guys are laughing. Okay? A lot of you guys are laughing. Vibes-based journalism. I'm saying that I don't know who the fuck this guy is, okay? So I am not trusting what he had to say unless it's featured in this article, which we can investigate. I don't have the capacity to fucking see the future ahead of time. When someone sends me a link and I click on it, I'm just reading it, and if it doesn't pass my smell test, or if I feel as though this person is not like a reliable narrator, I dive into it and I investigate. That's what I do. Sometimes it feels like you do, lol. Yeah, I mean, on shit that I am knowledgeable on, if I had done reading ahead of time, then yes. This is not one of those things. Wait, what the fuck's going on with this article? God damn it, dude. Anyway, companies, let's see if McKinsey mentioned here. No, it was not. The part that they mentioned is correct. Warner Bros. Discovery merged. They changed it from HBO to HBO Max. That's correct. They also then changed it back to, they changed it to Max, and then now they changed it back to HBO, and now the merger is and then there's now a separation. That part is correct. However, I do not know if McKinsey played a role in the consulting, and I also don't know how much they charge for said consultation. Having said that, however, it feels like it could be true, but regardless, that is how consulting works. That is what McKinsey does. So that part of it does make sense. Also, why won't anybody think about the GDP? Consulting is a bigger scam than insurance. Consulting is a massive scam. Insurance is a massive scam. So many things are massive scams under capitalism. And those scams end up increasing the GDP. So that's good. It's actually a good thing. And you should be excited. You should be thankful. Everything's a fucking scam. Capitalism is a scam. Anyway.